Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the SITREP, the summary for the day of 495 for the 3rd of July. And this is going to be this SITREP is cross-post on both channels, DPA main channel and the DPA war channel. So for those that are watching on the war channel, on the main channel, do subscribe over at the DPA war channel. Yeah, because these SITREPs are always posted on the war channel. And just no community service note, for those that do not subscribe, if you watch this video and you're not subscribed, I know you drink Bud Light every day and you must be a secret admirer of Dylan Mulvaney. I sure you stalk her or him on him or her TikTok every day because you did not subscribe to DPA's YouTube channel. So but it's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong. So let's start off with the Southern Front. There is a Ukrainian Sukhoi 27 shot down over Kryminna, and this is a Sukhoi 27 is known to use the Storm Shadow missiles from the British cruise missiles, which is currently being used to strike Russian positions in the rear, mainly maybe logistic hubs and whatnot. And to limited success. Previously, the Ukrainian used HIMARS. Don't really hear a lot of HIMARS or M270 nowadays. I'm not sure why. Maybe running out of missiles. But this is just my speculation. I wasn't paying attention to it. Moving into the Zaporizhzhia Front. At the Zaporizhzhia Front, at the Kryminna sector, there is a Ukrainian push towards Petikaki. And as they push in, the Russians spot them and started firing at them. So it's not exactly fighting or an attack, but the Ukrainian forces were simply moving in, maybe to do an attack. Maybe it's to do an attack, but they got spotted before they can even do anything. And so this information is coming from Ryba, the pro-Russian source, saying that the Ukrainian 128th Brigade tried to move into Petikaki and then immediately attacked by artillery and aircraft. Moving into the Orikhiv sector. So this is Orikhiv. Just now this is Kryminna sector. So this is Kryminna, this is Orikhiv. At Orikhiv sector, the Ukrainian forces continue their offensive towards Robotine as the Ukrainian forces push southward. Information coming from pro-Russian sources and Ryba and Remelin 21 reported that the Ukrainians attacked north of Robotine. And according to Remelin 21, with more information, he reported that the 65th Mechanized Brigade attacked the Russian positions. They managed to have success several hundred meters into the defense. However, the Russian forces counter-attacked and pushed back. This was already I did report this yesterday in yesterday's SITREP. So the Ukrainian forces attacked, captured some grounds, and then the Russians counter-attacked and recaptured some of the grounds. So as usual, pretty much standard things over at Robotine. The Ukrainian forces was also reportedly at fighting at Luhivsky. So they say that there is successful actions by the Ukrainians, but they got pushed back by the Russian forces at Luhivsky. This is reported by pro-Ukrainian sources, pro-Ukrainian source, Deep State UA, with the Ukrainian forces attacking Luhivsky, and then the counter-attack pushed the Ukrainians back. So yeah, Luhivsky. So that's all from the Orikhiv sector. Moving into the Huyaipole sector, there is probing reported at Huyaipole sector at Mafopil. This is Mafopil. And the information coming from the Russian Defense Ministry saying that they thwarted one recon force over at Mafopil. So probably some kind of engagement happens and the Ukrainian forces are bolted. So that's all from the Huyaipole sector. Moving into the Velika Novosibirsk sector. So in the Velika Novosibirsk sector, the Ukrainian forces continue their attack. There's probing towards Peryotne. There's small squads offensive against or assault against Staromayorsky. There's some fighting near Makarivka and fighting south of Rifnopil, as well as towards Uruzhaine. Towards Peryotne, the information is coming from Remelin 21. They said that the Ukrainians does not stop fighting at the borders of Peryotne. They are still continue to push. At Rifnopil, most likely it's the south of Rifnopil. Interesting information is that the Ukrainians reported that the Russians were attacking. They say that the Russians are conducting offensive operation in the area of Rifnopil, which is a contradiction to Deep State UA, which is also on the Ukrainian side, saying that there's a clash in the south of Rifnopil. I do not think this is a Russian attack because there is no reasons for the Russians to leave their defensive positions along the river. So it's most likely it's a Ukrainian attack, and the Russians basically fired at them. Then they misinterpret, misunderstanding. They misgendered the offensive, the actions of the Ukrainian forces. So he say that no, I'm actually just probing, and then the Russian forces said, no, you are attacking. Then the Ukrainians said, no, it's the Russians that is attacking. So misgenderization is so bad. Not good. The Russian Defense Ministry say that there's fighting near Makarivka, and they say that the units, which is ground forces, air force, and artillery, repelled 3 attacks at Nikoske, which is Mikhailske, Uruzhaine, and Makarivka. So Makarivka is one of them. Uruzhaine is here. So the Ukrainian forces attack here. So it's the same piece of information. And then the fighting at Staromayoske was reported by Remelin 21. They said that the Ukrainian forces use the assaults using small groups. So small groups attack is more or less what the Ukrainians are using right now most of the time, because when they move in large groups with armored vehicles and convoys, they got spotted very quickly, and then they got wiped out by helicopter forces, airstrikes, then artillery. Then when they get closer, they get hit by ATGM and then tanks. So it didn't work well, and when they go in small squads, it's a lot harder to spot them. So there's a lot more success for the Ukrainians. And yeah, so much for big arrow offensive, big arrows. And moving on to the Donetsk Front. This is Donetsk Front, and this is Donetsk City. And at the Donetsk Front, we have fighting reported at Mikhailske. This is part of the same information I talked about Makarivka and Uruzhaine. And with the Ukrainian forces continue to push for Mikhailske, which is kind of a interesting in development, because this is pretty much a very stagnant front line. With the Russians holding a pretty strong line over here, with the Ukrainians also holding a very strong line over here. Don't mistake, the Ukrainians are also have very strong positions over at the Voleda region. This is Voleda. So yeah, so there is some fighting here. We shall see how this goes. Unlikely to go anywhere based on our experiences. Over at the western part of Donetsk City is the town of Marinka, where it's entirely flattened, just like a prata. As in roti prata or roti canai if you are in Southeast Asia. If you do not know, then just pancake. The fighting at the Marinka is reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. They say that they actually repelled 15 different attacks from the Russians. So they are claiming that the Russians are making a very huge push at Marinka. This is not reported by any pro-Russian sources at all. Like, no one talks about fighting at Marinka. So moving on into the Avdiivka Front. So this is Avdiivka City, which is in the north of Donetsk. So Avdiivka City. In the Avdiivka Front, there is Ukrainian attacks reported at Pervomayske. So according to the Russian Defense Ministry report, they reported multiple attacks in multiple locations. One of them is Pervomayske. And then they also talk about Vodian. So this is Vodian, this is Pervomayske. And so fighting is still ongoing in this area here. Over at the eastern part of Avdiivka, the Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source reports that the Russians continue to be attacking near Kruta Balka, which is here. So they continue to be pushing towards Avdiivka in this area here. There is no fighting reported over at the Kayamka sector. And nothing around the Krasnohorivka sector. That's all from the Avdiivka Front. Nothing at the New York Front. This is New York. And moving into the Bakhmut Front. Bakhmut City is over here. So in case you guys are lost, we are now this area here. And Bakhmut sector, there is fighting reported southeast of Bilahora. Sorry, this is the wrong color. So the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported that the Russians attacked over at the southeast of Bilahora, probably around Kiryomivka region. Bilahora is here. Southeast is actually around Orezhanivka, which is not where we know the fighting is. But of course the fighting is all around the front line. So yeah, it's just they report the Russian push, which is not corroborated by any other sources. Over at the Klishchiivka region, also this Klishchiivka, the Ukrainian forces is fighting on the western part of Klishchiivka, according to Deep State UA, and also at Klishchiivka itself, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, with the Ukrainians pushing towards Klishchiivka in two directions. However, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported fighting at Ivanytsky. So they say that the Russians are pushing towards Ivanytsky, which is unusual. Oh, sorry, I used the wrong button. Yeah, towards Ivanytsky, and I don't think this is accurate, but yeah, because the Russian forces is nowhere close to Ivanytsky, so there is better terms to use, like southeast of Bakhmut, or north of Klishchiivka, northwest of Klishchiivka. Is not really at Ivanytsky. Over at the Bakhmut, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported fighting west of Bakhmut. They claim that the Russians are pushing west of Bakhmut, which is, yeah, not sure. I don't think so, but whatever. Over at the northern flank, we have fighting reported on west of Yakhine, with the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported the Russians are pushing west of Yakhine. However, fighting is reported at Bakhmut, according to the Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source, which I believe is a Ukrainian attack towards Bakhmut, and this Yakhine. And at Bodanivka, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported that the Russians are attacking Bodanivka, and information, yeah, the same one as the previous one, and also towards Krychorivka, as well as fighting reported southeast of Orikovo-Vasilivka. So this all according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So the Russians are supposedly attacking in multiple directions. Seems like a massive counterattack, but this is based on the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's report. I cannot tell. So yeah, so that's all from the Bakhmut front. And moving into the Siversk front. This is Siversk. At the Siversk front, there is fighting reported at Zolotarivka. This is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry, saying that the Ukrainians attacked Zolotarivka, which is here. And yeah, but that's all we have from this information here. Moving into the Kreminna Front. This is Kreminna. At the Kreminna Front, the Ukrainian forces launching a massive counter-offensive. Fighting is reported towards Kuzmine, south of Dibrova, within the Serebransky forestry, from Torske, from Yampolivka. So information coming from pro-Russian source Ryba on the Serebransky forestry, and there is also information from the Russian Defense Ministry about Dibrova and Kuzmine, which are attacked by probing attacks by recon forces. At Torske is actually more of like a offensive action. According to Ryba, they say that this is a counter-attack in the Torske ledge. And then also the Russian Defense Ministry mentioned about enemy attack close to Torske and Yampolivka, which is actually here. So the Ukrainian forces is launching their offensive and in this all different direction. And on top of these actions, there is reinforcement reported nearby at Svatove-Kupyansk, where the 44th Mechanized Brigade has arrived, and the rest have departed from Chernihiv towards the southeast, which is yeah. So there's still continued troops movement into the region in order to continue their offensive towards to capture Kreminna. There's fighting reported towards Nevsky, according to Deep State UA, the pro-Ukraine source, from Chervno-Popivka, which is actually here. So Chervno-Popivka attacking towards Nevsky. And Russian Defense Ministry reported there is a Ukrainian attack from Makievka. So in this direction, so there is a lot of action moving around. It's still pretty in flux, but the front line that doesn't change. So so nothing very special. And moving into the Svatove-Kupyansk Front. So Svatove-Kupyansk Front, there's nothing over the Svatove region. All the fighting over at Novoselivsky is no longer mentioned. And over at the Kupyansk region, there is some probing reported at Sinkivka, with the Ukrainian forces probably probing in the area here. Not sure if it's in the forest or is it in the open. Yeah, we're not sure. We do know that in the last available information, the Russian forces have captured most of the forests west of Sinkivka. So this probing could be anywhere. And that's all from the Kupyansk Front, and nothing over at the Kharkiv Front. And that's it. This is the SITREP and the summary for the day of 495 for the 3rd of July. Again, a reminder, for those that are watching on the main channel, do subscribe over at the DPA War channel for continued reports of such reports, the SITREP. And also for those that drink Bud Light, don't drink Bud Light and press the subscribe button, and don't watch so much TikTok of Miss or Mr. Dylan Mulvaney. Anyway, yeah. But if you want to continue to watch him or her, yeah, then don't subscribe. It's okay. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.